Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I would like to compare this GPT WIN 5, or most importantly the 395 plus max internal graphics card with an external graphics cards that I have. So I haven't done this test yet. Today I am gonna figure out if one is better than the other, and if it's worth even having an eGPU at this point, right? But theoretically, so I bought the 1X Player 7600 MXT before I bought the GPD WIN 5. So I bought it for my Legion Go, and it worked out pretty well. It boosted the power, how eGPU works. And then, so that's why I have it left over, and I wanted to see if the eGPU is gonna improve in performance if I were to hook it up with my GPD WIN 5. So I'm not wasting, money or anything like that, right? Like I can pretty much transfer over the power and keep the power of the eGPU. But anyways, when I talked to ChatGPT and something like that, it told me that the internal graphics card of the 395 Plus is actually stronger, or a little bit stronger than the 1X Player. And I was like, what? That means like my 1X Player now is completely useless. But yeah, I just want to see how much more powerful the CPU is compared to the eGPU, the internal graphics card. All right, let's check it out. All right, guys. All right, so this is Black Myth Wukong benchmark thing. This is with the eGPU plugged in, 7600M XT. What I want to actually pay attention to is also the watts as well as the performance. So just keep in mind that we are running this right now with 36 or 35-ish watts from my CPU and 85 watts on the GPU right now. So let's just go ahead and run it. So here you can see 45 watts right now, 48 FPS, that's current. And as you can see, running at 89 watts, 40 watts coming from CPU. So yeah, that's basically what you're gonna see when running it with the eGPU. So here is the result. We have a 47 FPS average and a 58 maximum FPS, minimum 19, low 42. And if you could see over here, the settings I'm running, 1920 by 1080p resolution, graphics high presets, everything high, off. Super resolution sampling FSR, no frame gen, and there you go. So that is what you can expect. Keep in mind that the eGPU can, if you see the watts over here, is that it's running at 80. It was roughly running from 80 to 90-ish kind of watts. Keep in mind that the eGPU itself can run up to 120 watts, but for this game, it's only using this amount, 80 to 90 watts. For the CPU, remember that it can also run from anywhere between 30 to 40 watts, and the maximum that the CPU can run at is 85 watts. So as you can see, we're using the RX 7600 MXT. Okay, here we are back at Black Myth Wukong, and this time we are running this at 1440p just to see how different the wattage has changed. So yes, running this at a higher resolution made the wattage go a little bit higher compared to the 1080p version that we just did. See, we're roughly staying around 90 watts now instead of like lower 80s. Okay, so at 1440p, as you see there, resolution, we got basically 47 FPS. Isn't that the same as the 1080p? The 58 FPS max, minimum 19. Alright, we'll consolidate all these numbers later. I don't remember the numbers at the top of my head. Okay, so here we are at Assassin's Creed Shadow. Still using the eGPU. As you can see up top here, we're running at 85 watts at first. Just dipped down to 80 watts. Around 37 to 40 watts on the CPU side. And I guess you could look at the specs over here too. Running at 1920 by 1080p, high NVIDIA DLSS. I don't even know why it's still set at NVIDIA DLSS, but we'll keep it there. just for the sake of the video. So if I'm running this with the eGPU on that setting, then it'll have to be the same when I'm not running it with the eGPU. So you see the GPU, AMD Ryzen RX 7600 MXT. Okay, and here are the results. As you see here, we have an average FPS of 43, 94 max, and all of that. Okay, let's go on to the next game. Lowest 32 FPS, lowest 0.1% is 20. Alright, now we are running Assassin's Creed Shadows at 1440p, as you see here. Same setting as before at 1080p. So normally this game, when I'm playing it without this benchmark, I usually get 100 watts or so for the eGPU. I don't know why running the benchmark, the wattage is so low. Okay, here we go. This is the end results. 39 FPS on average. So got 29.1% low, 26 0.1%, and again 1440p, 7600 MXT. Okay, here we are in Cyberpunk 2077. As you can see here, we're running at a higher wattage for this game, so I'm guessing it's just more graphically intense. So again, the GPU can go up to 120 watts. Right now it's running at 93 watts, the CPU 47. That's probably the highest I've seen in any game that I just tested. So yeah, we are running quite a amount of watts for this particular game. Look at that, it's going up to 106 watts there. Yep. So I guess in conclusion is that the more graphically intense a game is, the more wattage that the eGPU will push. We'll see how it fares when we test this without the eGPU. I'm quite interested in seeing how's the performance between the Strix Halo with and without in 7600 MXT. My guess is that the Strix Halo will be on par with it, because that's what ChatGPT said to me. But I just want to verify it with my own test as well. Okay, as you can see here, average FPS 48.89, min 838. We have ray tracing low, text quality. Oh, that it's running at 1440p for this one. Okay. Alright, so we're running at 1080p now on Cyberpunk, and yeah, let's see what the FPS is for this one. So at 1080p, looks like our wattage is actually a lot lower than compared to running at 1440p. Okay, so we got an average FPS of 58.77, so that is definitely a lot higher than what we got before. Running at 1080p. Okay, so that does it for the eGPU running at 1080p and at 1440p. Let's go and try to do this without the eGPU now. Okay, so we are running this at 1440p without the eGPU. So this is the 8060S internal graphics card. So as you can see here, we are running at almost 70 watts on the CPU and GPU put together. And right now, oh my goodness, we're getting 74 FPS. Are you serious? What the hell? Isn't that way higher than what we were getting with the EG? I wasn't even expecting that at all. What the hell is going on here? Dude, look at that. You're getting like above 60 FPS with this crap. What the hell is going on? Why is the GPU so much slower than the internal graphics card? What? Remember, the eGPU is like $500, $600 MSRP, and then the actual console or the PC itself is $2,000 right now, I guess, so you can find on AliExpress. Yeah, damn. Look at that. We're getting 68, almost 70 FPS right there. Still keeping our 70 watts over here. So if you were to calculate how much wattage, you were using way more wattage with the eGPU. So the eGPU was like roughly 90 watts, and the CPU was using around 35. So it's like 120 watts versus 70 watts. So it's almost double. Oh my goodness, look at that. Average 69 FPS. I think the one with the eGPU was like 47. 47 versus 69. What? Do we even have to test the 1080p at this point? I mean, like, yeah, we'll test it. But as you see, it's still 1440p. Everything on high, and all of this, and FSR on, high. Yeah, look at, like, I wasn't kidding. Graphics card 8060s. Okay, let's test it in. So if it's like anything like before, the FPS wouldn't change as much, right? Because what we got before and after 1080p 1440p for this game only seems to be the same, and it almost looks like it is kind of doing the same thing here. So 77 FPS, 76, that's what we got in the beginning, I think. We are running at a lower wattage right now compared to 69.
Now connected to GPD.
We are running at a lower wattage right now compared to what we were at, like almost 70 watts. It's at 55 watts now. So looks like at 1080p we're roughly getting the same FPS, but we're lowering our wattage. Alright, yep, like the average, it looks like the average FPS stayed the same, but the average wattage went down by a lot. Like you minus 15 watts from this. And yeah, and there we go. All of this 1080p again, 8060s graphics. Okay, here we are back at Assassin's Creed Shadows, running at 1440p, and our FPS is there. Average is 57, 58 at the moment. So as you see on the wattage, we're using around 55 watts over here. So again, remember that the CPU itself can go all the way up to 85 watts if it wanted to. Okay, so here are the end results. 61 FPS average, 44% 1% low, 30 0.1% low. Again, 1440p, and I'm not lying, this is the 8060s graphics. So now let's test it at well, hopefully we'll see an increase in FPS when running at 1080p. Black Myth Wukong didn't do a good job of telling us that. Alright, looks like we are getting a little bit higher in FPS, I guess. But we are running at 1080p. Again, it's still running at 55 watts. Alright, as you can see here, 67 average. Yep, we are getting higher FPS on the 1080p, but not so much more. So I'd rather play at 1440p than 1080p at this moment. Alright, so that's the Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's go and do our last game, shall we? Alright, here we are at Cyberpunk 2077. Looks like our CPU has been staying around 55 watts this whole time for all the benches, so I guess it really likes the 55 watts area rather than anything higher than that, but it can push higher if it wanted to. FPS counter. Again, this is running at 1440p internal graphics card. Alright, there we go. We have a 58 FPS average for 1440p on high quality, low ray tracing and all that stuff. So most importantly, I just wanted to know the difference between the internal graphics card versus the eGPU. And thank goodness that the Cyberpunk benchmark is so much shorter than the other benchmarks. It took a while for it to finish. Alright, let's go to 1080p. There we go, still running at 55 watts, but our FPS is definitely higher at 1080p than at 1440p. I don't know why Black Myth Wukong said that it was the same, but the other benchmark says that 1080p is definitely easier to run. I mean, obviously it should be, but I don't know why Black Myth Wukong is not the case. It's just similar to the 1440p. But yeah, we're getting up high FPS here compared to with the eGPU. Oh my goodness, this is just dominating that eGPU with very much lower wattage than that. Jesus, mother of holy goodness sakes. Okay, here we go. Average FPS 76 right there. Good job. And 1080p. Alright, that's it for the benchmark. Now let's consolidate all these numbers together, shall we? Okay, so we are done with the actual testing, and as you saw, holy cow, wow, that was very surprising, right? Did you guys even believe that it was even possible to have such a small little device to be able to, outperform a big device like the eGPU? Like, I did not even expect that, and like the performance gain, it's huge. I'll have the number somewhere here to give you a rough summary, but geez, like for example, the Black Myth Wukong was like sitting around 47 FPS, but then we got like around 60 FPS, I believe, or something around there. With the internal graphics card, I was like blown away. How the hell did that even happen? It's a no-brainer to just buy one device that has the power of two devices, and even stronger. You're buying one device that is even stronger than two devices put together, and they're quite current technologies too, right? Like people still can game on the Z1 Extreme. A lot of people aren't really upgrading from the Z1 or even from the Steam Deck for that matter. Unfortunately, the Steam Deck doesn't allow you to hook up an eGPU, which sucks because maybe I could have used the eGPU for my Steam Deck, because right now my Legion Go has been bricked. Why? Because ChatGPT, or when I was doing some coding to try to get dual booting, and then it finally dual boot, and then for some reason it like crashed or something, and then it no longer works and it won't even power on. And I was like, I take the battery out, I do all sorts of things. I did everything that I could do to try to get the Go to work again, but it never worked. So I am not gonna even attempt to dual boot anymore. Like I put Bazite on the Legion Go and Windows, and it was running pretty well for a little bit, but then after, oh my goodness, it just exploded, or it just didn't work anymore. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this results, and yeah, I'm quite shocked. And let me know what you think about the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.